Hello, hello. We start the week with a Leo first quarter moon, so a little citrus twist is great. It's very citrusy, obviously, and it's got a little twist of ginger, so it feels very Leo for me. And I brought in lots of hearts and some cute little fairies to set the tone. Okay, remember that Leo rules the heart, hence the hearts. This is also a week that's going to take us right towards the end of the week. We enter that full moon in Scorpio portal. So it feels like a bit of a mixed bag this week. I'd like you to pick a card between 1 and 4, and that's going to give you slightly more personalized flavor of this week for you. But remember, this isn't a personal reading. If you'd like a personal reading, you can get in touch via the information below this video. So let's jump in. Have you picked a number? And if you picked card number 3, you get a double whammy, just to say. So we've got 2 court cards that are both in wands, the page and the queen. We've got 2 major arcana cards that are both upside down, and we also have an upside down 4 of swords. So for me, the fun and exciting part is the Page of Wands and Queen of Wands in the center of this reading, really speaking to dynamism, creativity, energy, passion, ideas. I mean, a page is always going to be about newness, beginning, youthful exuberance. All these wonderful new ideas and creative surges are abounding, which is an exciting place to be. And the queen is really maturing that, like full of creativity and wonderful energy, but in a slightly more solidified way, maybe like a later in the journey. If page is the early part of that in a new beginning, queen is later in the journey and has more to show for all of that creative urge that has been with her since she was a page, so to speak, since youth. So that is all very exciting. Of course, we do have the upside down temperance on the queen, and I'll get to that in a second. But it does feel like the week is very much cautioning us to a tendency to a near burnout feeling. And also based on the, excuse me, the Empress, the High Priestess in protection here as well, I would say that you really need to try and see what area of your life, because it may not be everywhere. And I get the sense that that might be part of the problem, is that there are spaces that you're very, very burnt out right now. But in other places, you're kind of feeling good. You've got energy, you've got ideas, you've got this creative drive. And also all those retrograde planets have moved forward and come out of shadow. And I think Venus isn't yet out of her shadow, but Mars and Mercury out of shadow, moving forward, momentum. Yay, let's do it. And so it might be easy to camouflage the space where you are, or for you to go into denial about the fact that there is an area that you are really, really flat. So let's say work's going great, but there's a thing at home that's draining you hectically, and you are just kind of avoiding it because work's busy and work's creative and it's great, so I'll get to the home thing when I need to. Or maybe everything's going great with your family, with your friends, with your work, but your body is saying to you, I just don't feel right and I really need some attention. And you're like, okay, body, I'll get there. But right now, work and life and everything's so busy and full on and creative, and I just want to focus on that for now, body. I'll get to you later. And the caution for me here is that whatever area it is that you're avoiding looking at, that's actually trying to be seen for you right now, is very close to some kind of burnout. And being in denial about it is the absolute wrong thing for us to do. And in fact, if you find that space of self-care and rest and recuperation and reinvesting into some kind of nourishment for yourself, then it'll boost these fiery energies that you have coming up in card 2 and 3. So particularly if you pick card 1, I want you to really take some time to maybe drop into a meditation where you check in with your body, check in with your heart, check in with your mind, find out what part of you is not doing okay. And I feel like this is Taurus season. Taurus is very body focused, so it'll be easier to drop into your body from that perspective than usual. Right now, at the beginning of this week, we start with Leo first quarter, and that is very heart-centered, so easier to drop into your heart. And yeah, Mercury's now direct and moving pretty fast, so kind of checking in with the mind, but also maybe just tapping out of the mind, because he's now at full speed, and it's a lot. And this is a swords card, which is the mind, and of course the burnout in particular with a four of swords, because it's an air card, is mental burnout. So there's a background program, computer program running in your brain that is tiring you out and no longer working for you, and you need to upgrade it, whatever it is. But first you need to figure out what it is. So that feels really important, especially if you got that card, because there is this beautiful, fiery, fun, festive, creative energy that really is also bursting out of you. And this is coming back to, can we hold the both and? It's not either or, it's both and. I am both exhausted and frustrated, like the crazy changes that have been happening in everybody's life this last few years has really pushed us all to shift and change and grow and kill off parts of ourselves that we haven't liked, and it is tiring. So there is that part of us that we can really understand should be here, but also all this new beginning, also this, I think I've got an idea of how I can change my life. I think I've got an idea of how to build something more exciting. And so we're in both of those spaces, and that's okay. We need to obviously recognize what needs to be replenished, that is running low, that we still need to take forward with us. Like we can't lose our bodies. We need them to take them forward with us, But also what creative ideas are coming up, and maybe write them down, let them be concretized, and ultimately you can bring them into fruition when you develop a plan. So the Temperance on the Queen, also upside down. I mean, Temperance is an angel, and he's all about balance. You can see the sun and the moon there in that infinity symbol. And he, in his upright, he really is helping us to achieve and strive that balance. But upside down, he's saying, whoa, something is way out of balance. Something is very misaligned. Something is, I mean, I think between these two cards, there's potentially secrets and lies, whether you're telling them to yourself or to others, whether others are telling them to you. The energy is off. So don't overexpend with the shadowy traits of fire, like too much drive, too much like focus on self to the point of exclusion of others. Like a lot of those types of shadow things of the fire are just going to take you more and more out of balance with yourself. And that'll kill the creativity. That'll kill the beautiful spark that is coming to fruition now. And that will also be added to if you don't find a way to replenish and rest in the space that you are exhausted, because you cannot be running at full speed into one thing while so depleted in another and expect it not to catch up. The balance is off. Okay, so that's really important. And the fact that it's come with the Queen as well, for me, sort of says, like, you might not notice it initially. You'll have that youthful, exuberant messenger sort of spark of, I've got this is great. But then when you get to the point where you're trying to actually make it more manifest and long lasting, you'll realize, oh dear, I missed a step. And now I'm going to have to start over, or this whole project has soured for me because I'm so depleted somewhere else. So I think this is an important caution for us. And then the High Priestess in protection at the end of the reading is also very much speaking to me as we come to that very, very intuitive, psychic Scorpio full moon, which is only next Monday. There will be a forecast up by the end of this day. On my YouTube channel. I think it's only next Monday, but remember that we enter a portal the day before, the day of, the day after. So by Sunday, we're in that full moon energy. Scorpio is very psychic and intuitive. And for whatever reason, you're afraid to let yourself go there. Again, there's an avoidance, there's a denial, because she has her eyes closed, as you can see, but she kind of has eyes superimposed on her eyelids. So it's like she sees without seeing. And she is channeling. You can see the energy coming from above us. She just channels. The information comes through her when she's upright, when she is at her best. She is highly intuitive, psychic, and sensitive. And therefore, she does need a little bit of quiet around her. So, of course, these very busy energies can also detract from it. Whereas if we were resting, whatever resting looks like, it doesn't necessarily mean an afternoon nap. I mean, I love an afternoon nap, but it might mean going for a walk in nature for you. It might mean having a lovely bath. It depends where you need the rest. It might mean not connecting to that friend that you've been talking to every day that is draining your energy, or it might be like a little getaway weekend on your own, leaving your partner and children behind you, or whatever the case may be. That's why it's important for you to discern what it is for you, because it's not the same for all of us. But if you're finding that level of rest where you need it, then this card more than likely will turn right around for you and be this deeply intuitive guidance that will help you to channel a lot of insight, which will really feed into all of this one's energy, and it'll help balance you out. If she's upside down, though, you need to watch where you're expending that energy and who you're talking to, and how the intuition is maybe not speaking so loudly. And I always say to people, our intuition whispers, whereas our more personality / ego voice is much louder. And our inner critic, who's there to protect us but oftentimes goes awry, is also very loud. And until you begin to cultivate a better relationship with your intuition, where that intuitive voice realizes you are listening and you are taking heed and that they can trust you. It's like developing a level of trust with a close friend that's more of a quiet friend, and they're not going to give you their opinion unless you want it, ask for it, or listen to it. They're very wise, but they don't speak easily. And that's kind of like the intuitive voice, whereas we all know the inner critic is constantly going, don't go that way, it could be this, don't do that. And for me, the inner critic anyway talks very, very fast and very, very often. And if I don't learn to quiet her, it's hard to hear the intuition. But as you develop that trust muscle with your intuition, it does speak louder, it does speak more clearly, and you can tell the difference between fear, anxiety, and the inner critic voice, or that intuitive voice. So I would definitely say it's important to be working on that as we head towards that Scorpio full moon, because it is such an intuitive portal. And if you are kind of resisting your intuition at that point, you're missing out on a good opportunity to get some deep insight. And it's also keeping you out of that balance and in that space of, if not already burnt out, potential burnout. So as much as we have this wonderful, exciting, creative urge and drive and energy, I really want you to take heed of the areas where that could mask a bigger problem, and pay attention. Pay attention. Listen to your intuitive voice. It's always there for you if you choose to listen to it. It does take practice, so don't beat yourself up if it's not that easy. It takes practice. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes, and I'll be back next week.